to the four corners of this ring right here at Madison Square Garden. The fight starts now! Introducing first the challenger. She fights out of the red corner and wears white with blue and orange trim. She scaled 133.6 pounds. She has been a professional fighter since 2009, amassing a record of 42 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw, with 30 big wins coming by way of knockout. In 2011, she won her first world title and has now gone on to become the Guinness Book of World Record-setting 9-time 7-division world champion. Ella nació en Carolina, Puerto Rico, and raised in the beautiful borough of Brooklyn, New York. Here is the talented and accomplished women's boxing southpaw sensation, the reigning and unified featherweight champion of the world, la gran campeón puertorriqueña, Amanda, the real deal, Serrano! Serrano! And her opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. She is the defending undisputed world champion. She wears the black with the gold trim. She scaled at already 134.6 pounds. As an amateur, she won 5 consecutive world championship gold medals, 6 European gold medals, 5 European Union gold medals, and in 2012 in London, she captured Olympic gold. Now, as a professional, her record stands perfect. 20 fights, 20 victories, 6 of them coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of and proudly representing her home of Bray, County Wicklow, Ireland. Here is the acclaimed, celebrated, and game-changing 2-division and reigning, defending, undefeated, and undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Katie Taylor!
So referee Michael Griffin brings both boxers to the center of the ring.
You two champions received my instructions in the dressing room. You know what you have to do. Protect yourselves at all times. I want you to touch gloves now. You're boxing at the bell. God bless you both.
So a sporting touch of gloves after those final instructions from the referee Michael Griffin. And for the first time in the long, rich history of the sweet science here at Madison Square Garden, 2 female fighters top the bill as Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano collide for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world, obliterating barriers and achieving sporting immortality at the Mecca of boxing. The biggest fight in the history of women's boxing is underway. 10 2-minute rounds for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world between the trailblazing talents of Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Katie Taylor making the 6th defense of her undisputed titles, even though she's been a title holder since winning the WBA title in her 7th contest. Both boxers operating out of the orthodox stance. Both boxers in centering as Amanda Serrano in her characteristic southpaw stance, wearing white trunks trimmed with red and an orange top. She gets through with a hard southpaw left. Katie Taylor just near the perimeter of the boxing ring out of the orthodox stance. She, the champion, wearing black trimmed with gold. Katie Taylor with a good straight right hand to the body. Remember, 10 2-minute rounds and 40 seconds have gone. Beautiful 3-shot combination, left, right, left from Katie Taylor, but Serrano comes back with a roundhouse right, and then a right jab, and then another roundhouse long hook, but she didn't get much leverage on it. Good left hand driven into the stomach on the neutral corner on this near side of the ring from Amanda Serrano, and it's Amanda Serrano flat-footed and stalking Katie Taylor, left hand whipped in out of the southpaw stance to the torso of Katie Taylor, and Katie Taylor just moving her feet incrementally. Beautiful counter right hand from the champion near the neutral corner on this near side of the ring. Now she's over towards the blue corner on the far side of the ring, using the space of the ropes arena very effectively indeed. But there's a looping long southpaw left from Serrano. That's countered by a straight right hand to the body, palm down from Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor moving in a clockwise direction to her left, plants her back foot, spears in a right cross, but it's off the mark. Less than 30 seconds to go in this opening round, and it's Serrano cutting off the ring, occupying center ring. Katie Taylor moving counterclockwise to her right. Looked for a straight right cross, but it was short to the mark. Left hand to the body from Serrano is countered by a right hand over the top from Katie Taylor. Right hand upstairs from Taylor, countered by a left hand to the body from Serrano. And there's another straight long southpaw left into the body of Katie Taylor from Serrano. Closing seconds of what has been a blistering opening round. My goodness, Steve Bunch, your thoughts on that first 2 minutes?
It was controlled and relaxed for a few seconds, and then Serrano managed to get that looping southpaw left in. Katie was caught on the ropes at that time, and then for the last minute and 40 seconds, Serrano was looking for a big shot. And Alicia, I think Katie Taylor's a bit shocked by how easy it was for Serrano to get to her.
You know, I think so. I think she's just adjusting to this round, kind of feeling it out a little bit. But I think Katie Taylor is aware that she needs to watch out for that left hand and, again, make the adjustment.
Barry, it's as tense as we fought. It's as fast as we fought. It's as furious as we fought.
It is, but it's gone predictably as we thought. That Serrano was going to come and be aggressive. When you have power, you make someone feel it early, make them panic. And she tried to do that. I don't think Katie Taylor exactly panicked, but she felt the power, and now she has to adjust to that.
One round in.
Well, both boxers up off their stall to begin round number 2. Referee Michael Griffin had to hold back Katie Taylor to ensure that she didn't encroach into the prime real estate of centre ring. Amanda Serrano remained in her corner, but now it's her in the centre of the boxing ring, edging forwards out of that southpaw stance, dipping to her left. Katie Taylor with a beautiful sharp shooting right cross, and then skips off in a counterclockwise direction to her own right. Just beyond punching range, Serrano edging forwards incrementally. Now it's up at close range, and the two boxers getting busy with their hands. Katie Taylor showing good ring craft, turning the tables to pin Amanda Serrano on the ropes near the blue corner on the far side of the ring, forcing the intervention of referee Michael Griffin. 40 seconds to go gone in this second round, and it's Serrano looking for that southpaw right jab once again. Katie Taylor moving backwards and to her right, looking for the right hand, which is an antidote to the southpaw stance, and a terrific double right cross lands from Katie Taylor, who is measuring her woman very effectively indeed. Southpaw left hook from Serrano was blocked effectively by Katie Taylor, performing the salute, putting her right glove up to her temple to catch that shot. And now Katie Taylor with her back near the neutral corner on this near side of the ring. Serrano looking for the southpaw left, but Katie Taylor boxing very intelligently with beautiful pot shots, and the right hand is a prominent shot in her armory. But a good left hand to the body from Serrano, followed by a left cross upstairs from the 7-weight world champion. 30 seconds to go in this second round, and it's Serrano on the front foot. Katie Taylor dips to her left to make the shot from Serrano sail over her shoulder. Terrific ring craft in evidence from both of these boxers, as Serrano looking for her right jab, Katie Taylor looking for a right hand against the southpaw, and it's Serrano closing the distance once again, whipping a left hand to the body. Then she comes back with a right jab upstairs. Double jab was short, but the left cross got through from Serrano. Plenty of leverage on it as well. Katie Taylor with her back near the ropes on the far side of the ring. Closing seconds with a 10-second clapper is barely audible. There's the bell. Steve Bunch, your thoughts?
My thoughts immediately are that Amanda Serrano has done her homework. Put the pressure on, but don't commit. Because if you commit, she'll pick you up. She's not committing. And I want to ask you something straight away, Alicia. Will the crowd, let's be honest, we're all big boys in gears, will the crowd influence the judges here? Because every time Serrano throws a big shot, a big wide looping shot, they scream.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on both ends, the judges can be, consumed by the crowd's, enthusiasm for the fight. But again, they're both throwing punches and the crowd is responding.
Barry, are you surprised by how powerful Serrano looks?
I'm surprised how her presence can intimidate Katie Taylor. But I
am as well.
But I did think Katie Taylor was really sharp with that right hand. And I thought she was moving well, but Serrano's stealing that space. And Katie Taylor, again, I say it all the time, she's moving back and not pivoting on that front foot.
I'm really surprised at the level of threat.
So into the third round we go then. Both boxers out to centre ring to get this session underway. Katie Taylor looking altogether more content to stay in the pocket here rather than move to the perimeter of the boxing ring. Looking for that right cross and finding a home for it once again. Right beneath the microphone that is dangling above them to capture all of the effects here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Serrano using the right jab as a rangefinder, but Katie Taylor just increasing the gap, maintaining the gap. They're backing up by backing up. Beautiful roundhouse right to the body from Katie Taylor. Her back's on the ropes on the far side of the ring now, and again she looks to turn the tables, and that is why an untidy tango took place between the two of them, where the boxers momentarily lost their footing. Referee Michael Griffin came between the two boxers and now is back beyond punching range. Katie Taylor continuing to bomb away with that right hand against the southpaw. Good southpaw left landed from Serrano, and a roundhouse left from Serrano. Then a good left hand to the body. Katie Taylor voluntarily retreating to this red corner on the near side of the ring, looking to fight her way out of there now and turn the tables and put Serrano on the ropes. But a good portion of the round in terms of volume and accuracy from Serrano. She marches right back out to centre ring. Terrifically picked right hand from Katie Taylor, who is pot-shotting beautifully. There's the right hand once again. Terrific punch picking from the champion. Back to the ropes near the neutral corner on this near side of the ring. Serrano looking to keep a pin there. Drives in a hard southpaw left with the palm turned down right into the pit of Katie Taylor's stomach. Then Katie Taylor getting physical. Waltzes her back and walks her back all the way to her own red corner on the near side of the ring to our commentary position. And Katie Taylor is really catching the advancing Serrano with some terrific straight punches, particularly the right cross. Right jab lands from Serrano. She goes down with a left hook to the body, but it's countered by a left hook upstairs from the champion. 10-second clapper sound. Closing stages of round number 3, and there's a really solid left hand out of the southpaw stance from Serrano. Taylor fires right back with a right cross of her own. Her mouth is open, and a terrific exchange with the boxers continuing to trade through the bell. What action in that third round. Both boxers enjoying success with some heavy, accurate punching to both head and body.
I've never seen Taylor look so flustered. I've never seen Taylor look, I don't want to use this word lightly, distressed. It looks like she's being hurt with every single punch that's clipping her, Alicia. I'm a bit surprised by that.
I'm not surprised. I think Katie, you know, Amanda's is a southpaw. You still have to make that adjustment and be aware when you're fighting. And, you know, she's an orthodox fighter. So, again, Amanda, she has to keep making that adjustment to stay on that left, keep her left foot on her left foot.
Barry, it's a hard fight at this point. It's a hard fight at this point. There's a case here for 3 rounds to 0 for Serrano.
It is. I would just say for Serrano that she's coming forward in straight lines, and I just think she can just move with the track a little bit, just a little bit of a roll, or more importantly, just a feint before she throws. Because I think Katie, in stages of that round, was timing as she was coming in.
So we move into the 4th round of what has been an absorbing affair on this night of history here at Madison Square Garden. Amanda Serrano, who won her New York Golden Gloves title at the Felt Forum downstairs when she was an amateur, here competing on the main stage. She's on the front foot. Katie Taylor looking to shoot out a left jab while moving backwards and to her right in counterclockwise fashion. Beautiful boxing out of the corner on near the neutral corner on this near side of the ring from Katie Taylor. Then she ties Serrano up, pins her to the ropes, forcing the referee to intervene, and that was a terrific piece of ring craft from Katie Taylor, luring Serrano in and then picking her off before tying her up. Right hand over the top again from Katie Taylor. Big swing and a miss with the left hand, but then altogether more compact with the right hand that followed, and she scored. But Serrano continues her advance and is working behind her southpaw right jab. There's another tussle on the inside where the boxers are holding with one hand and firing away with the other. Referee Michael Griffin comes in between the two. Good work to the body from Katie Taylor before ending that salvo with a jab upstairs, but bombing away with a southpaw left in between the gloves of Katie Taylor is Serrano. Then she missed with a left hook, and it was countered immediately by a right cross from Katie Taylor, who then followed up with a reverse 1-2 right-left out of the orthodox stance. But Serrano keeping her composure, but a terrific 3-shot combination. Right-left right from Katie Taylor out of the orthodox stance in between the high-hold gloves of Serrano. Serrano comes back, southpaw left hook, right hand to the head, then a left hand to the body from Serrano. Terrific action, beautiful quality between these two champion boxers. Action is exclusively at centre ring, and the boxers are really planting their feet into the canvas and getting some leverage on their punches. Good right jab to the body to the head from Serrano, followed by a left hand to the body. And Katie Taylor just being backed up by the right jab now, and Taylor may have a nick around her right high. She plants her foot into the canvas and fires away with the right hand. Serrano will be encouraged by the trickle of blood that's coming down the right hand side of Katie Taylor's face. Scored to the southpaw left, but then Taylor spins out of the corner and just glanced her with a right hand. as she caused Serrano to totter into the ropes. Steve Bunt.
There was a moment there, the first, let's say, minute or so of that round, when it looked like Katie Taylor had found a bit of range, found a bit of distance, and she was making Serrano miss, and she was countering beautifully. But then suddenly Serrano just pushed through, and looks like Katie Taylor's picked up a cut on her right eye, Alicia.
Yeah, I see that. I think, again, like you mentioned, Katie finding her range and making sure that she's comfortable doing that, because, again, Amanda is coming forward. So either get your shots in and move, or, you know, just get out the way. You don't want to keep getting hit, because that cut's going to end up getting bigger than what it is now.
Yeah, and it looks like it was caused by a clash of heads, or maybe that slap. Barry, this is far harder than I thought. Far more fearsome than I imagined it to be.
It is, with only 4 rounds in, it's becoming a little bit of a war of attrition already, isn't it? I'll tell you what Serrano did well in that round. Double up with that left hand. There's a southpaw stand, not just throwing the one, doubling up with it, and I was catching Taylor out every time.
Fantastic fight.
So we go into the 5th round then of a contest that is competitive as we anticipated it would be, as Serrano marches down and banging away with the left hand once again. Katie Taylor bobbing and weaving, but she takes a hard left hand to the body, and another one from Serrano. Palm turns upwards, and Serrano has got Katie Taylor pinned in the red corner on this near side of the ring. Katie Taylor trying to fight her way out of it, but Serrano's getting the better of these trade-offs. Terrific accuracy, hard-hitting shots from Serrano, but Katie Taylor trying to fight back, but she's in danger of being overwhelmed. The fans on their feet here at Madison Square Garden. Serrano sensing that Katie Taylor is hurt and scoring to both body and head with arcing punches, uppercuts and straights. Katie Taylor fashions the clinch, walks her way out of the confined position in the red corner, gets back to centre ring, but a hard left hand from Serrano dips the knees of Katie Taylor, and Katie Taylor's chin being checked here now. Serrano intelligently goes to the body once again with her southpaw left. Taylor fighting backwards, countered by a right hand which snaps her head back. There's another southpaw right and another southpaw right hook from Serrano, and Katie Taylor's been bloodied and backed up, and she's in desperate trouble, and is trying to hold on. Serrano sensing that Katie Taylor may be there for the taking. 40 seconds to go in this 5th round, and all of Katie Taylor's strength is being put to the test here. Serrano marches back into the fray after the referee separated the two. The action is at centre ring. Serrano continuing to invest in heavy body shots. Now she comes upstairs and is teeing off on Katie Taylor to both head and body. The uppercut stopped Katie Taylor in her tracks, but she bites down and tries to fire back. But make no mistake, it's Amanda Serrano who is on top here in round number 5. 10-second clapper sounds, and for my money the bell can't sound quickly enough for Katie Taylor. Right hand lands from Serrano, and another one which causes Katie Taylor to totter to her right. What a blistering round of boxing. Amanda Serrano, the boss, putting Katie Taylor in desperate trouble. And the corner are going to have to get to work on her and try to revive her, Steve Bunt.
Yeah, they're going to have to get to work on it. That might just be one of the greatest rounds we've seen in this building here since it opened in February of 1968. That round there, Alicia, can stand with any round we've ever seen underneath that roof.
Man, I definitely agree. I'm just sitting here looking at it. I'm like, wow, what a round, what a round. And it's just telling that, you know, Amanda is building her confidence very, very, very much.
And she was hurt there, Katie. Barry. She
mate,
was really hurt.
She was hurt. She was almost out. When she was on the ropes at the beginning, even though she was under loads of pressure, she was coping relatively well because she was
blocking stuff. Yeah.
But then she went to throw a hook, and it got caught in the rope
on the left side.
And then she got caught with her right hand, and that the demise started. Then she did well to stay on her feet.
And Serrano's body shots.
5 rounds completed, a potential 5 rounds to go, but the 5th round was a torrid round indeed for Katie Taylor, and Amanda Serrano has started the 6th round in urgent fashion, but Katie Taylor keeping her composure, scores with the right hand to the body, but Serrano's got her pinned in the neutral corner on the near side of the ring. Katie Taylor claims her woman and waltzes her back to the ropes to turn the tables on her. Serrano quickly back out into punching range. Katie Taylor being dragged into a dogfight, and the skills that are normally so sharp, well, they're being tested in trade-offs here, where Serrano is the heavier puncher. Katie Taylor backing off, continuing to bomb away with her right hand. But again, her mouth is wide open, and she's becoming increasingly affected by the shots that Serrano is landing. But then Katie Taylor again digs in, lands a left hand. Her movement seems to be on rubbery legs. She lands 2 feather light right crosses. Serrano pins her against the ropes and shovels in a hard left hand just above the midsection. palm was turned upwards and it was driven in. Katie Taylor responds with the same shot on the resumption after referee Michael Griffin intervened. And a left hook lands from Serrano, countered by a right cross from Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor's movement, not sharp now, it's rather languid and ragged, but what spirit she is showing as she nails Serrano with a right cross. Action is approaching the blue corner on the far side of the ring. Katie Taylor moving to her left, beautiful three-shot combination, left, right, left from Taylor, who appears to be fading, but is still producing moments of quality, such as her technique and her ring craft. Serrano not as dominant here in the sixth as she was in the fifth, final 20 seconds of the round. Katie Taylor managing to find quality on the back foot. What a right hook landed from Serrano, and then the heads came together. What a response on a three-shot combination from Katie Taylor, but then Serrano comes back with hooks and uppercuts through the middle. Katie Taylor boxing on the back foot, hands down, pins Serrano with two straight punches, and again the boxers continue to punch through the bells, knee punch.
Ronald, it's like a Rocky film, this is, in all of our wildest dreams, we had this fight doing this, we had this fight doing that. We didn't expect we'd get back-to-back rounds like this. That round, Alicia, may have even been better than the round before, which we were claiming as one of the great rounds in the Garden.
I would agree. I think, that round, Katie was able to rest, kind of get that energy back up. But again, Amanda is coming. She knows that Katie is hurt and that she can apply the pressure and get her out of there.
And Katie did stop her at that point. She did stop Serrano there a couple of times when she was coming forward with perfect shots. But Amanda just keeps going, Barry.
Serrano's getting hit with plenty of shots, but she has no respect for Taylor's power.
Yeah.
She's just walking right through her speed. That was another hard round for Taylor. Even though it was a competitive round, that took more out of it than it should have.
Than the previous round.
Really.
This fight is going beyond anywhere we could have possibly imagined.
Into the seventh round we go. Both boxers were up off their stool to begin this stanza, showing the opponent that I am still ready. How are you feeling? And the action is at centre ring. Serrano with her hands down now. Katie Taylor with her hands down when she's out of punching range. She just evades a right jab, trying to close the gap with Serrano, but again the jab was short as Katie Taylor maintained the gap by backing up. Now the feints are being proffered. Amanda Serrano far more circumspect in this seventh round because she expended an awful lot of energy, particularly in that fifth round where she produced a dominant 2-minute display. And the gap being maintained between the two, neither boxer really able to close the distance. Looking to come behind and advance, and a right jab is Serrano, but she's not yet found the range. Counter right hand is an effective shot off the ropes on the far side of the ring from Katie Taylor, who's looking to lure Serrano in, and scores with the same shot once again. And another pinpoint right cross bounces off the chin of Amanda Serrano. Her hands around her pecs, looking for a southpaw left. Her punch is not as sharp or accurate in this seventh round because her feet are too far away. Left-right combination to the body from Katie Taylor. Saw the right hand get through, and then a gunshot of a left hook from Katie Taylor checks the chin of Amanda Serrano, who is continuing to come forwards before being fed another right cross on the counter from Katie Taylor. What a recovery from Katie Taylor. Can Serrano summon up the energy that she demonstrated in such dominant fashion in round number 5? Because Katie Taylor, at this type of tempo and at this type of distance, is boxing very effectively indeed. Serrano gets through with a two-shot combination, southpaw left then right, but Katie Taylor shoots out a left jab before blocking the counter right jab that came from Serrano. Right left hand driven through from Serrano, saw Katie Taylor catapult off the ropes and come back with her own counter, and the right cross is proving to be a really prominent punch in this seventh round from Katie Taylor. Good left hand driven into the body, palm perpendicular to the floor from Amanda Serrano. Right cross in response upstairs from Katie Taylor. What a recovery from the champion. Katie Taylor boxing very well indeed in that 2 minutes.
So what was it? Was it a case of Katie Taylor doing some adjustment, or was it a case of Amanda Serrano suddenly slowing down, or maybe it's Amanda Serrano realising there were a lot of rounds left, a lot of time left? How did you interpret that complete change of pace there, Alicia?
Yeah, I would say they're both, kind of taking a round off for each other. That happens in boxing, and again, round 7 is just kind of right in the middle. And I think, again, this next round will say where each other are at.
I think you're absolutely right there. This next round will say exactly where we are. Or will it, Barry? Or will we just go back to the slugfest?
Well, maybe Serrano needs a second win. She had 2 really hard rounds. She forced the pace and didn't stop throwing punches. But what a twist. Why Katie Taylor's a great fighter. You get absolutely battered for 2 rounds. come back and win the next. Yeah. Whether Serrano took a step off or not, she still had to throw those punches.
Yeah, that stuff in the 5th round, she was really hurt there. I was just looking at Serrano's face there. She's heavily marked around the cheekbone. This is a fight that's taken its toll.
So into the 8th round we go. Both boxers make their way to centre ring. It's a flurry of punches from Katie Taylor, none of which were particularly accurate. And now the tempo has quickened, but Katie Taylor is meeting and matching Amanda Serrano and is continuing to bang away with that right cross. And she lands once again with her back to the ropes on the far side of the ring. Serrano coming forwards, but he's looking a little bit more forlorn and a little bit less certain as Katie Taylor scores with the right cross and then skips off to her right in counterclockwise fashion. Terrific work with a single right hand pot shot once again from Katie Taylor. Heat seekers of right hands continuing to connect on Amanda Serrano, who's looking to quicken her feet and close the distance. She drives Katie Taylor to the neutral corner on the far side of the ring, but Katie Taylor pirouettes out to the space of centre ring and then right on cue scores with a right cross once again against the advancing southpaw that is Serrano. So there's a tangle at close range. Katie Taylor pins Serrano to the ropes on the far side of the ring. Referee Michael Griffin comes in between the two and prizes them apart. Roundhouse right hook lands, followed by a left hook from Katie Taylor, who is boxing beautifully on the back foot. Sometimes her legs appear a little bit rubbery as she's jolted by a single right jab from Serrano, but Serrano isn't having the same success at closing the gap. Beautiful left hook is the final shot of a trade-off from Katie Taylor. First and third boxing for the champion during that coming together. And Serrano's feet, she's trying to get them moving once again. She scores with a left cross and then turns a left uppercut into the pit of Katie Taylor's stomach. Katie Taylor retreating to her own corner, looking to pick her off with that left jab is Taylor. Serrano looking for a right jab, but her feet are too far away and she's not finding a range with the same consistency that she enjoyed in the middle rounds. Beautiful right cross lands once again from Katie Taylor. The 10-second clapper sounded here at Madison Square Garden. Serrano coming forwards with a left hand, but again, not the accuracy that she is looking for. What a turnaround we have witnessed here. The tempo has dropped and all of a sudden Katie Taylor not quite refreshed but appears fresher and terrifically accurate with her work.
And yet her legs still seem rubbery, her legs still seem uncertain. She is pulling up stuff here, stuff she learnt when she was fighting in some faraway distant land like Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan or Azerbaijan, when she had no chance against some 6'2" miracle fighter. Stuff she learnt then, stuff she perfected then. This has turned into not just a war of attrition, but a war showing us exactly what they're both made of, Alicia.
Yes, I agree. I think that the rounds are close. These are championship rounds. We only have 2 minutes. They definitely have to show who's winner because it's very close right now.
It is very close right now. Barry, I want more. I don't want just 2 more rounds.
Katie Taylor's fighting out of instinct. As Ronald picked up on superbly, Serrano's feet have slowed right down. She's not getting close enough to have effect with these shots.
So into the 9th round then, 2 rounds to go in an absorbing encounter here at Madison Square Garden. Katie Taylor out quickly with her hands, just moving in a counterclockwise fashion to her right. Amanda Serrano looking for the potency as she takes a roundhouse right to her ribcage. And Katie Taylor is continuing to pick off the advancing Serrano, who now is beginning to quicken her feet. Left hand landed on the deltoid from Serrano. Katie Taylor, to cries of KT, just ties Serrano up and takes her back to the ropes in between the red corner and the neutral corner, approaching the far side of the ring. Katie Taylor just tottering backwards once again. Now she's got her feet back beneath her and is continuing to pivot and pirouette in the pocket and offset Amanda Serrano with terrific singles, but then Serrano does land a right, but then she's left swinging it air because Katie Taylor escaped out of the cul-de-sac by moving to her left. Serrano, big swing and a miss with the southpaw left, and anybody who's been in the ring will tell you that it is far more fatiguing to hit the stadium night air than it is to land leather on flesh and bone. Terrific speed in the combination from Katie Taylor once again, and her right hand is notable. When she's up on her toes, she's not really able to take big strides left or right, but she's moving enough in incremental fashion. Oh, beautiful counter right hand from Katie Taylor leaves Serrano swinging and missing. And one wonders, after that terrific round 5 and 6 for Serrano, is the puncher just being a little bit spooked, as if to say, oh my goodness, why is Katie Taylor still here, given the dominant 5th round that I enjoyed? She's looking a little bit forlorn, and she's being picked off and stopped in her tracks repeatedly by the rhythmic single punching of Katie Taylor. Serrano continuing to press. She wasn't too far away with her southpaw left. And now the action is just above us on the near side of the ring. The Puerto Rican crowd getting up on their feet because they're sensing that she's getting closer. But Katie Taylor ending the round after taking a hard single by driving in her customary right cross. We're going to go to the Katie Taylor corner and listen in with 1 round to go.
He's getting in. He can't go in. He's the trainer. He has to wait till the doctors see him. What? He's the trainer. What are you talking about?
This is outrageous. This is outrageous, this one. What's happened here is they won't let Ross Ename into the corner to look after the fighter. There's some confusion at ringside. That's Brian Peters demonstrating. They lost 30 seconds. I did tell you that the stewards here are stupid. I've got to tell you, they're abusive and aggressive. They nearly let a couple of boxers die. They've overcompensated with stupidness. This is absolutely outrageous what's gone on there with the New York officials.
Well, Ross Ename was finally allowed into the boxing ring, but not until 30 seconds of the 60-second interval had elapsed. Katie Taylor didn't sit down. Ross Ename was in her face with encouragement and inspiration. The most perfunctory touch of glove to begin this 10th and final round on this historic night here at Madison Square Garden. Amanda Serrano is energized and comes out on the front foot. Katie Taylor backing up towards the neutral corner on the near side of the ring before claiming her woman and waltzing her back to the ropes just above our commentary position. Then she lands a sneaky left hand, then gets back to the space of center ring and pings the advancing Serrano with a right cross. Katie Taylor continuing to back up, dips beneath the hook of Amanda Serrano and scores with a left hook of her own. It's Amanda Serrano continuing to force the action and press the pace here, and now Katie Taylor waltzes her back to the ropes just above our commentary position once again. 40 seconds gone in the final round of what has been a pulsating affair on a historic night here at the Mecca of boxing. Serrano willing her way forwards, but it's as though she's wading through concrete because her feet weren't quick. But my goodness, her effort being applauded by the fans here. Katie Taylor spoiling and forcing her back to the ropes on the near side of the ring once again. The two boxers letting their hands go, and the eye-catching shot during that trade-off was a right hand from Katie Taylor. A shot that has been really prominent in her armory all contest long, and here it is once again as she got onto the front foot. The face of Amanda Serrano reddened, and she's being out-muscled in these clinches here. The power puncher being waltzed and sometimes ragdolled across the ring, and on the resumption is Katie Taylor, who's bombing away with the right hand, pushing down on the back of the head of Amanda Serrano, just as Muhammad Ali did against Joe Frazier all those years ago here in March 71, and his hook success for Taylor, and another left hook from Katie Taylor dips the knees of Amanda Serrano, and she comes back, Amanda Serrano, and is having success with her own straights. What a trade-off at center ring as the 10-second clapper sounds. And on the conclusion of the round, both boxers are fighting furiously. Katie Taylor's legs almost went beneath her, but she ended the round on the front foot, backing Amanda Serrano towards her own red corner, and every fan, to a man, a woman and child who is able, up on their feet here at Madison Square Garden in acknowledgement of this historic contest. The first woman's bout to top the bill here at Madison Square Garden, and my goodness, not only has it delivered, it has exceeded all expectation. Because Katie Taylor, the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, making the sixth defense of all four belts tonight, facing off against another fellow great fighter in Amanda Serrano, the 7-weight world champion, and the boxer and the boxer puncher have combined to produce a classic that will grace the annals of Madison Square Garden history, because the two of them extracted the very best from one another. Non-stop action in this back and forth ebb and flow affair. An absolute classic in the women's lightweight division.
Round 5, round 6 and round 10 will enter history. They will enter Madison Square Garden history. They'll enter boxing history. Ronald, there's going to be some very, very emotional scenes in this ring because both corners seem fairly confident. Maldonado in the Serrano corner is convinced they've won. I believe the people in Katie Taylor's corner are convinced they've won. We did warn that it could be an emotional thing. We warned that the crowd could play a role. Alicia, I don't want to put you on the spot. What do you think? How do you think the judge is going to interpret those 10 rounds?
Yes, I think it's always good to leave a last impression. Those last 3 rounds, Katie definitely showed that she made up for those rounds that, Amanda took serious. Not that Katie wasn't, but Amanda had earlier, stronger rounds. Katie finished strong, and judges look at that. She definitely showed out in that 10th round to say, hey, we can... It can go either way, but I would like a draw.
Barry, at least you would like the draw.
Steve,
that's not a bad shout.
She's out on her feet on the 5th round.
She nearly went down in the 10th.
The 6th round, she should have been done. And then for me, she wins the next 4 rounds.
Yeah.
That is Hall of Fame stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
She boxed out of her skin.
Yeah.
Amanda Serrano was excellent, superb. Yeah. But something happened. She had 2 successful rounds, and either she couldn't or wouldn't push the pace.
Oh.
But either way, or was it that, or was it just Katie Taylor, that inner strength, come out of it?
Adjusting her feet slightly.
Because actually, she did adjust her feet, because the last 4 rounds, rather than go back, she was rolling underneath the southpaw jab, she was pivoting and turning off to her left, doing the things she should have done in the earlier round.
Just to say that there's a really very nasty cut on Katie Taylor's right eyebrow. It's about 1 inch long, and Amanda Serrano, that damage under her right eye we've talked about, I think that's cut as well.
What a fight.
What a fight. Barry, what a fight. It was good the first 4 rounds. Round 5 took us somewhere where, that just took us somewhere different, Alicia. That 5th was
Ladies
legend.
and gentlemen,
hold on, here we go.
Let's show our appreciation out here for these 2 incredible fighters. After 10 incredible rounds here at Madison Square Garden, we go to the judges' score totals, and they read as follows. Benoit Roussel, 96-94, Amanda Serrano. Glenn Feldman, 97-93, Katie Taylor. And Judge Guido Cavallari scores this bout 96-93 for your winner by split decision. And still,
it's
the
Katie
undisputed lightweight
split
champion of
decision
the world,
victor over Amanda Serrano to retain